Ancient history is filled with brutal and inhumane punishments designed to inflict severe pain and serve as deterrence. Here, we've gathered together some of the worst methods of execution ever to be carried out, so let's get into it. Scaphism. Originating from Persia, scaphism is by far one of the most extreme punishments to ever exist. What scaphism is basically is taking the condemned criminal and putting them on a boat with another boat on top, or hollowed out tree trunks and carving a hole for the head and the feet. After this, the condemned was trapped between them and was force-fed milk and honey. Now, it may sound sweet and delicious, but they force-fed the condemned more than their stomachs could possibly handle. And after they were full, the rest of the milk and honey is poured over them, and they are left to be eaten by insects and vermin. Usually, they would develop an infection, which would make them sick and make their death even more painful. After all this, they would finally die to their injuries, making this punishment the most horrific out of all of them. Moving on to the next punishment method, which is impalement. Impalement has got to be one of the most barbaric methods of execution to exist. Unlike many punishments, this style of execution didn't belong to one culture, as it was used by many civilizations. The impalement execution was carried out by taking a condemned person and sticking a sharp stake or pole through their body. Now, there were many variations of impalement, but the most popular one was the vertical impalement. The people who carried out this execution will carefully place their sharp stake to the bottom of the victim, managing to avoid the vital organs so that their suffering will be prolonged while the victim is still alive. And to make matters worse, the weight of the victim's body would slowly press them down further down the pole, in which they could do nothing, not even scream or move, but only to accept their fate and slowly die on the pole. The next punishment is the brazen bull. Originating from Greece, the brazen bull was a brutal execution device. The brazen bull was a large hollow statue of course, a bull, made out of brass or bronze. The bull was crafted with a door on its side or bag in which the victims is placed inside. Now, of course, the bull wasn't spacey at all, and usually was only large enough to fit a person in a cramped position. Once locked inside, a fire is lit beneath or around the bull, in which the bull will start to heat up like a pot on a stove. As the heat increases, it slowly roasts the person inside, in which you could hear the victim's screams through the bull. Not only that, but the bull was designed with an intricate system in which the screams of the victim would be converted into sounds of an enraged bull. This makes this punishment one of the top worst ways to ever die in history. And now for our last punishment on the list, the blood eagle. Coming from the Viking culture, the blood eagle has to be one of the most gruesome methods of execution to ever exist in the Viking culture. To explain how bad it was, it all starts with the victim, usually a captured enemy, was tied and held face down on the ground or a flat stone. After this, while the victim is still alive, deep incisions are made along the spine, cutting through the flesh and muscles of the victim to expose the ribs. After this, the ribs are broken away one by one from the spine with an axe. After this, the lungs were pulled out through the open back and draped over the exposed ribs, making it look like wings. In the most extreme cases, salt was sprinkled on the wounds to increase their agony. If you ever had salt on a cut, you know it stings. Now imagine salt on a wound when you're completely opened up. After this, the victim, often still alive, was left in this position to die from shock, blood loss, or asphyxiation. Well, that was it for this video, guys. I hope you all are less scarred after watching this video. And by the way, if you learned something, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.